Recording in progress.
Yes, guys, welcome to today's training and hopefully what will be a really insightful training. I hope it has as big an impact on you as it did me. The learnings that I've done for these next kind of 4 to 5 trainings that are all going to be on leadership, but probably not what you think leadership to be, because leadership all starts with self-leadership and leading our own life from within. And I think sometimes it gets very misconstrued on what leadership actually means. So the first point I want to start with, how cool is this card, by the way? Look at that. You are totally amazing. And it just made me think of that, because the first thing I want you guys to remember today, like I've said this time and time again, and I'm going to keep saying it over and over and over again until it literally is demented into everyone's brain, because even on a daily basis, it's something that I see myself slipping out of, and then having that awareness and that rumble strip and thinking, why aren't I feeling quite right today? Why haven't I started today in the kind of place that I maybe want to, kind of emotionally and with my motivation and everything else? So it's always going back to this, that you are enough, but more importantly, not just understanding that you are enough, but also understanding that you are already wealthy. I think, and again, I'm going to open up the chat so I can see it. Again, let me know in the chat. Why is it not opening? Oh, there we go. Let me know if it's something you experience as well, because it's always nice for me to know that I am on the point and I'm feeling the same things. But I think when we're chasing whatever it is we're chasing, right? So you might be chasing muscles, you might be chasing miles, you might be chasing a new career, you might be chasing love, you might be chasing affection, you might be chasing fat loss, you might be chasing money. Most people are chasing money in some format, whether they're ready to kind of admit that or not. So we kind of often wake up, right? And let me know if this hits home. And we're very reactive. And because we've done all this mindset work, we're doing exactly what we should do in some format, in that we've become very focused and driven, exactly as a coach, you guys, on going after what it is that we want. Focusing on moving forwards, focusing on what we can control, focusing on what we are in charge of, focusing on what we want and how we do want to feel, not what we don't want and how we don't want to feel. The problem with this is you don't always get what you want, and you very often don't get what you want as quickly as you want to get it. So unless we're first reminding ourselves that we are already enough, we already have enough, we're already wealthy, and we already have more than most people. We already live a life that many people would give a limb to be able to live. And we often have to start from that point to ground ourselves, because if we go straight into chasing what we want and then we don't kind of get it, or it doesn't go to plan on that day, then our default mindset will be, I'm a failure, I'm not good enough, I'm trying my hardest, it's not working, why am I not losing weight, why am I not making more money, why am I not happier in my relationships? Because before we started going after the thing that we want, we forgot to remind ourselves that we're already wealthy and that we already had enough. And that's a critical reminder for me now. That has to happen every morning, because if not, I get straight up and I start hardcore chasing after what I want, and then sometimes end up very disappointed and demotivated when I haven't got it or I don't get it. Does that make sense? So we have to ground ourselves first. But I want you to today start by taking in a moment and just reflecting on and remembering and appreciating just how far you've come. Not just in this year, but in your life as a total, but especially this year. Now, I can see from a mile off that a high percentage of people have stopped doing the strategic confidence work. You've stopped celebrating the daily wins. Even to the level where, you know, in the WhatsApp group, in the Facebook group, you can't wait to post when something's gone wrong. You can't wait to post when you've got ill. You can't wait to post when you've got an injury. You can't wait to post when you've messed up. Yet some people are doing that to a higher percentage than that they're posting any strategic confidence wins, that they're posting anything positive, that they're posting what they have done well. And that shows that you've stopped doing those strategic confidence tasks. You've stopped doing the daily wins. When is the last time someone, you know, ask yourself, when was the last time you honestly did your 3 daily strategic wins at the end of the day? And if you have, great. If not, let's get that back on your radar, because it's really important. Doesn't matter how small they are, but it's about continuing to pat yourself on the back for the things you are doing well, the things you have achieved. You know, you might have a great day, but you don't post about it, but then you stub your little toe and break your toe, and you can't wait to put that in the WhatsApp group. But you ran 5K on Monday, but you didn't post about that. You have a massive argument at work and you don't know how to handle it, so you offload and rant about it, but you've forgotten about the great task that you did at work last week that you got celebrated for. So just have that on your radar and be celebrating what we're doing well. But here's why, listen carefully. I also want you to celebrate what you're not doing well. And you'll probably be thinking, what? Why? Huh? Has he gone mad? What is he talking about? These painkillers ruining his head? But the pattern that we've ran for so many years, many of us, is that we are so quick. Drop me a yes if this makes sense. We are so quick to beat ourselves up when things go wrong. We're so quick to beat ourselves up when we have a drink, when we don't go to the gym, when we get into an argument, when we mess up, when we do something wrong, when we basically do anything that makes us feel like we're a bit of a failure. We can't wait to beat ourselves up. When we go off plan, we can't wait to fess up when we go off plan. Can't wait to talk about how we're struggling. We can't wait to talk about what's not working. But we're so slow to appreciate how far we've come. We're very quick to talk about the challenges that we're facing, but we never talk about the challenges that we've overcome. Now, the best metaphor I've heard for this, and this is why I also want you to be grateful for, knock on my screen, and celebrate and understand the reason behind also celebrating when you don't feel that way and you feel like you've let yourself down. Crazy, right? Best example I've ever heard is a car indicator. What does a car indicator do? When you put your indicator up to move into action, what does it do? It flicks on, it flicks off, it flicks on, it flicks off, it flicks on, it flicks off. It can't just flick on and it can't just flick off. It has to be doing on, off, on, off, on, off. And this is the same with positive and negative thoughts. Now, if the indicator wasn't flicking on or off, how would you know it was working? You wouldn't even be able to hear it, would you? You wouldn't know you were in the game. There'd just be silence. So this is the same with positive and negative thoughts. And we need to remember that we are all human. And the fact that we're having good days and bad days, the fact that we're having good thoughts and bad thoughts, the fact that we're having successes and failures should both be celebrated, because it lets us know that we're in the game. We're all human and we all experience both emotions. So when you start to have negative thoughts, when you start to have these feelings of beating yourself up, maybe you mess up and you hide it. Drop me a yes if you do that. I would be typing yes now. Drop me a yes if you quite often F up, but you don't tell anyone about it because you're too guilty and you're too ashamed and you don't want anyone to know because you're trying to paint this picture of being perfect. You don't tell anyone when you have a drink, you keep it quiet. You don't tell anyone when you eat a load of shit, you keep it quiet. You don't tell anyone when you go to the gym. You don't tell anyone when you have a complete mental health breakdown because you don't want anyone to know because it's out of alignment with this perfect life that you're trying to show everyone that you're living. Now, why we need to celebrate them is because that they show you're in the game. They show that the indicator's on. They show that you're trying. It's the warning light on the dashboard, as I said. It's the awareness. So we need to be grateful because it's the sign and the rumble strip that, I've started doing that old pattern that doesn't work for me and makes me feel like shit. Thank you. Thank you for fucking up and showing me that that doesn't make me feel good and I now need to change. Because as we said, that's the cost of awareness. The cost of awareness is responsibility. Once we're becoming aware that we're running an old pattern of beating ourselves up when we mess up, rather than going, it's okay to mess up, but it's a warning signal to handle and move forward, that's why we need to celebrate it. It's the warning sign that we all need, right? If you're not having warning signs and you're not messing up, trust me, you're sleeping awake. You're on autopilot. You're going nowhere. Because you're not even aware of the fact whether you're winning or losing. You're just doing for the sake of doing. Sleeping awake. I love that phrase. So the warning signs are great. The mess ups are great. The failings are great. We should celebrate them. Don't beat yourself up about them. Celebrate them. Because remember this, right? What happens when you're driving on the motorway? And you're going into sleeping awake? You're going into running that old pattern where you're going with the flow. And we know the only thing that goes with the flow is dead fish. You're running that old pattern of just drifting through life, unaware, going absolutely nowhere. And you hit the rumble strip and it goes and it wakes you the fuck up. No, I don't want to go down there because I'm going to crash. And it's the warning signal to be celebrated, to get back in the lane, to wake up. And without the rumble strip, what would happen? Well, you'd career into the central reservation and die. So be grateful for the rumble strip. Be grateful for the mess ups. Don't beat yourself up for it. Be grateful for it. Because it's the warning sign you need to readapt your behavior and get back in the fucking lane. We're all going to hit rumble strips, right? We're all human. And if you didn't have the rumble strip, you didn't have the mess up, you didn't have the warning signals, then you wouldn't even know anything was wrong. And you'd go back to being sleeping awake. You'd go back to repeating the old patterns. So give yourself some credit. If you're hitting warning strips and you know you're not okay and you know you're messing up, give yourself some credit because it's the warning sign you need to change. It's not about perfection. It's about progress. And every day, every week, every month, remember the compound effect, we just need to be 1% better. Just 1%. That's it. Not about perfect all the time. But the difference, sorry guys, this is probably kicking off. The difference between winning and losing, the difference between succeeding and failing, is your ability to hit the rumble strip, become aware of it, accept the lesson, take ownership, take responsibility, and then adapt your behavior in line with your new insight. Take the action to bring yourself back into the lane. Okay? So share your wins in the group, do your strategic confidence daily, inspire yourself, inspire others, but also have an awareness of that not being 100% is okay, that messing up is okay. Because if not, as I said, you're on autopilot and you'll always be going backwards. If you're not getting negative thoughts, you're just running negative thoughts without even thinking about it because it's just gone back to where you live. So we're going to be moving into, just remind that as well. That's just come back into my head. So the rumble strip is the mess up, right? The rumble strip is the negative thought. The rumble strip is the retreat back to old patterns that you don't run anymore because you're on a new journey. And just remember, if you're not hitting that rumble strip, you're just going to keep careering offline and you're going to crash. So we're going to be moving into two key areas. Leadership and relationships. Because both of these are master skills. If you can't lead your own life, you'll never be able to lead others. If you can't have healthy relationships, then you'll never be able to move forward because you can't do everything on your own. So, understanding the importance of leadership in relationships, and especially relationships, and as I said with the rumble strip, not avoiding breakdowns, not avoiding mess ups, not avoiding confrontation, not avoiding breakdowns in a relationship, but understanding how to repair them and being aware is the master skill, because you can't avoid that. In every single relationships, whether it's work, business, or pleasure, you've got two or more people who are all operating at different levels, with different mindsets, different beliefs, different values, different models of the world, that not only do they have those different things, those things are constantly changing all the time. People change their beliefs, they change their values, they change their opinions, they change their goals, they change their mindsets. One day they're positive, one day they're negative. So we have to understand that confrontation, challenge, and breakdowns in any form of relationship will always happen. And if you don't know how to repair them quickly and repair that loss of connection, then it doesn't matter how good the relationship is. If you can't repair it and become aware of it and repair it quickly, then you'll always be lost. So remember, if you find yourself having a bad day, messing up, not doing the work, procrastinating, pissing around, watching Netflix rather than doing personal development, going to the pub rather than going to the gym, eating crap rather than eating healthy, being around negative influences rather than being around positive ones, just remember that's because you've hit that rumble strip. And you just need to get back on track as quickly as possible. And that's the tools that we're going to come on to. But when we're moving forwards, especially when we're moving forwards quickly, think about this: when you're moving forward slowly, you probably don't stumble that much. When you're moving forwards quickly, you're going to stumble and fuck up a lot more. So again, it's another thing to be grateful for. When I'm messing up because I'm going quickly, that's great, because it shows I'm going quickly. So I just need to get quicker at handling these mess ups so I can keep moving forwards. And they're tests. Every mess up is a test. Every mess up in your relationship, your career, your fitness, your fat loss is a test. Accept the lesson, adapt, and write this down. Your best teacher is always your last mistake. If we don't have mistakes, we'll never learn. If we don't fail, we'll never grow. So be grateful for the mistakes, be grateful for the lessons, and be grateful for the rumble strips. And the other downside to that is if we're not experiencing any of those things, and when uncertainty and challenge and failure shows up, that we don't even think about it, or it doesn't affect us, or we don't feel bad about ourselves, then we're not even doing anything that's causing enough challenge to grow. If you're just dealing with being unhappy every day without it bothering you, if you're just dealing with messing up every day without it bothering you, if failure doesn't bother you, then I would say you're not really moving forwards. Does that make sense? Drop me a yes. So, leadership. I need to speed this up a bit. So by leadership, I mean, how do we learn to lead our own lives? Because we have to be able to lead our own lives before we can lead others. There's no way I can lead you guys without leading myself. There's no way I can deliver this training without having done the training myself. There's no way I could teach people how to train without having trained myself. There's no way I could teach people to overcome challenge without having first gone through challenge myself. So how do we become the leader we were born to be? Because I guarantee you this one thing, and if you take one thing away from this training today, I want you to understand that your leadership skills, primarily your leadership of your own life, not others, that comes after, will determine the exact direction your life takes. Your self-leadership will determine the direction your life takes, how you choose to lead yourself. So leadership is not probably what you think. When we think of leaders, we think of football captains, we think of army leaders, we think of presidents, we think of people who lead countries and wars, or huge companies with hundreds of employees. Leadership first comes from within, and all a leader is a person who makes effective decisions, has a function of knowing their self and their vision that is well communicated, and as a result builds trust in others. It's taking action to realize your own potential. Taking action to have a goal. It's taking action to move forwards. And that's when people will follow the leader. Not because the leader wants to be a leader, but because the leader has a vision they're moving towards and they're communicating it so well that it's building trust amongst people. That's why you guys trust me. It's very often influencing people towards group goals that also fully respects their freedom. Think of a sports team. Great captains empower their players through freedom. Great employers empower their employees. They're not authoritarians. So think of something like Hitler as a leader. That's not leadership. Okay? And leadership is part of the role of growth. And it's what ties growth and contribution together. Because leadership, self-leadership and group leadership allows you to give more, and it's giving more that allows you to grow and become more of who you are by giving more. So, as I said, we think of leaders as people that inspire nations, people that win World Cups, people that are great or have greatness, or people that perform above and beyond the capabilities of most people when facing challenge. That's a true leader. But for the purpose of this first training, we're going to think leadership is your reflection of your relationship with yourself. Remember that. Leadership is a reflection of my relationship with myself. I rate my leadership not on how many people I get to follow me, but how many people I can empower to lead their own lives. Do you see the difference? It's not about me and me being the leader and you following me and you doing as you're told and I'm the boss, so fall in line and follow suit. And this goes back to Napoleon Hill and Think and Grow Rich. He didn't set out to be a multi-millionaire. He set out to empower people to be millionaires and became the greatest leader and the greatest one as a result of that. Now, you wouldn't be listening to my voice right now if you didn't want to be a better leader, if you didn't want a better life, if you didn't want more happiness. And I want you to remember one thing, that this is a forever journey, okay? Leadership is a constant work in progress. It's not a destination that you arrive at. Now, the reason why we need leaders is that 90% of people are still in an absolute mess. They still live in a place of drama and chaos. And this all comes from short-term thinking. So like I said, understand it's a journey, not a place you arrive at. The reason why most people are in so much pain, so much chaos, is because of the amount of time they've spent falling for quick fix plans, falling for people promising quick and easy, falling for people who are telling them they can get what they want without going the hard yards. That doesn't exist, I promise you. And the world today is full of chaos, it's full of drama that's unavoidable. Look at COVID-19. Could any one of us have avoided COVID-19? Could any one of us have avoided lockdown? Of course we couldn't. And what defines you as a leader is how you go through chaos that you can't control with a positive mindset. And you should know by now there is no certainty in life. And if you think about it, COVID is the best example. So many people embraced it and grew through it. So many people allowed it to devastate their lives. Oh, so I guess this is the new norm. Things are never going to be the same. All they did as soon as it happened was rant about Boris, rant about absolutely everything. The people who moved through it easily were the people with the great leaders, because great leaders embrace challenge. They embrace adversity. They know that life will always be uncertain, to the level where they're grateful in advance for uncertainty and challenge, because they know it's the only way they will grow. Now, another great awareness here is people, drop me a yes, right? Everyone says they love surprises. They don't. What they mean is they love good surprises, and only good surprises, and only surprises that serve them. Was COVID a surprise? Of course it was. I didn't see it coming. Was lockdown a surprise? Of course it was. I didn't see it coming. Now, when people say they love surprises, what they mean is they love good ones. When bad surprises show up, they call them problems, even though it's the same thing. And your ability to lead yourself and those around you through problems, through adversity and challenge will be the key to you winning in life, without any shadow of a doubt. Now, there's 5 key areas to leadership, and we're going to cover point 1 today. And point 1 is mastering your values. Now, if you're watching this and you haven't got pen and paper, I would watch it anyway. I would soak it in, but I would come back to this training and do it again with a piece of paper, because this isn't a 5-minute task. And I also advise all of you with that, with the mindset trainings. I know a lot of you are saying, I listen to it when I'm walking, I listen to it when I'm in the car. That's great. But the ones that you really need to do the work, deep work on, you need to be watching the training and you need to be focused. Not half in, half listening, half in the car, half concentrating on driving. So number 1 is mastering your personal values. Show me your values and I will show you your life. Show me your values and I'll show you your results. Now, most people, again, be honest here, because I'd be answering no until I did this training. When was the last time you really looked at your values? I can't remember when I did, by the way, but probably about 2 years ago when I was with Paul Moore. Maybe some of you have never even looked at your values. And again, type in the box if you are live now, what you think as I carry on. You know, what truly are values? Values for me define what action we take. But then again, how do we choose them? How do we change them? How do we know what they are? Well, I'll give you two very quick places you can look to see exactly what your values are. If you bothered to do your planners at all across the last week, knowing exactly what you did from 6 a.m. until you went to bed, maybe it was from 9 a.m. until you went to bed. If so, you just found your first value. You like staying in bed and pressing snooze. Might be a bit harsh to accept, but it's true. Values don't lie, planners don't lie. Maybe if you pull your iPhone out, go into that little settings and hit screen time, you might have another great awareness as to what you value. Because if it's over 4 hours or not, you value scrolling shit on the internet very highly up in your life. Again, harsh to accept. Guess what? Mine was 7 hours. I'll take it on the chin. The other place is your bank account. Pull up your bank account and your bank account will show you exactly what you value. Pull up your MyFitnessPal. Your MyFitnessPal will show you exactly what you value. It'll either be empty, so you value being fucking lazy and not tracking your food, or it's full of crap, so you value putting crap in your body over eating healthy. Have a look at how much alcohol you consumed in the last 30 days. If it's a lot, lots of alcohol, lots of parties, lots of holidays, and then we're talking about struggling with our health, our fitness, our body, our fat loss, and our mental health, guess what? You just found out the latter's probably struggling because you value the parties, the food, and the alcohol too much. Can't have one without the other. So if you value health, if you value mental health, if you value personal development and growth, you'll eat well, you'll exercise, you'll rarely drink, you'll not smoke, you'll not eat takeaways, you'll not eat crap, you'll exercise daily, you'll get up early, you'll not press snooze, you'll work on your mindset. If you don't value any of those things, you'll stay in bed, you'll eat crap, you'll make excuses not to go to the gym. Yet the first time your friend texts you to go to the pub, you're running there quicker than Usain Bolt on a good day. If you value family more than work, then you'll spend more time with the family than you will working within certain boundaries. If it's the other way round, and yes, I've been guilty of this in the past too, you'll find excuses to stay at work, excuses to stay upstairs, excuses to work long hours in the office, excuses to be busy, excuses to do overtime. Because you'd rather stay at work late and be busy than be with your family. It's a very real thing for a lot of people, that. Or you'll value work over going to the gym and eating healthy. Number one excuse in the world. Why don't you eat healthy or go to the gym? Oh, I'm just too busy. I'm too busy with the kids. I'm too busy with work. I'm too busy with looking after my mum, my gran, my nan, my sister, my uncle, my cat, my dog, my goldfish, my unicorn, my reptile. I'm too busy looking after everybody else, non-stop. Too busy earning money I don't need to earn. Because I value that over and above being healthy and going to the gym. But every single one of us, right, and I promise you this is so true, but I've made all of those mistakes and I'm still making some of them now. We all make every decision that we make based on our hierarchy of values. As I said, your day planner and your bank account will show you exactly what your values are. as for your screen time. So today's personal development question for you to answer is, what values do you have? You're not just going to answer that now from me answering that question, which is why I said go back, stop it, or write it down on a piece of paper now. But take the time to work this out and write them down. Take the time to be honest, but have the fucking balls and the courage to say, yeah, do you know what? I value work and money over my family or children at the moment. I have done at points in the past. I value getting pissed with my mates over being healthy, but then I moan about my mental health. I value Netflix over personal development. You have to be honest. Like, no one's going to see this, right? Do it for yourself. When I first did Byron Katie's values test, I was fucking mortified at myself. Because it showed me every answer that I didn't want to read. And I'll never share that with anyone else. Because the list of what I valued was disgusting. Embarrassing. But guess what? It was also the first point when I moved forward. When I realised that all my values were misaligned with the life that I wanted to live. Right at the top were drugs, alcohol, women, parties, and buying things for significance. Not difficult to realise why my life wasn't going in the direction that I wanted it to go. And it's a very real thing. So again, don't beat yourself up for it. If you do your values test and you're like, oh my God, I'm a vile person, good. Celebrate it and be grateful for it, because you've realised it's the first step to now moving forward. But you'll only be as good as your answers are honest. But then we know the cost of awareness is responsibility and ownership to then change your behaviour. You can't realise that your biggest values are actually escapism, booze, alcohol, drugs, gambling, pornography, fighting, and everything else, and be disgusted and then not adapt your behaviour in line with your new insight, unless you're a fucking fool and you want to live unhappy for the rest of your life. If so, crack on. I'm not here to judge. Just holding up the mirror of what's available and hoping that you see the insights. So, do you really know what your values are? If not, that's step one. Secondly, are you happy with your values? Thirdly, are your values working for you? Now, if you want a simple question to help you answer this, without doing a kind of online values test, there's lots out there, just answer this one question honestly and ask it over and over and over and over and over again until the universe gives you the answers that you want. What is most important to me in life? And don't fucking lie. Honestly, I promise you, as long as you continue to lie about your values, as long as you continue to lie about what you really want, and I probably did this for 30 years, you are going absolutely nowhere. You're just going to be in that hamster wheel. Now, again, if you're stuck, here's a few insights that might help. Is it money? Is it family? Is it sex? Is it success? Health? Travel? Freedom? Adventure? Security? Love? Significance? Growth? Contribution? Drugs? Alcohol? Football? Staying in bed? I can't tell you what it is. Some people's highest value is crime. I can't tell you what your value is. And there's no right or wrong answer. It's your list. So get everything out, based on those: money, family, sex, success, health, travel, freedom, adventure, security, love, significance, growth, contribution, social media, proving I'm right, significance, validation. Go to town. Those are just random ideas. There's no right or wrong answer. It's your list. But once you've written down all these things that you value, right, no matter what level that you value them at, brain dump them all out and then order them. What's my number one value? What's the number one thing that I say, or my brain tells me, that I value most in life? Let's move that cursor. There we go. But then you have to ask yourself the question afterwards. Almost every parent, by default, will say my kids. But then you have to honestly ask the question, are all my actions aligning with that? Some people will say health. Are all my actions aligning with that? Some people will say success and making money, and that's okay, that appeals to me and many people. But are my actions aligning with that? We can't be saying I want a multiple 7-figure business and not getting out of bed until 9 o'clock in the morning and quitting every time something goes wrong. We can't be saying we want to lose body fat and have the dream body we always want, and we can't even be asked to track our fucking food for 7 days on the trot. You can't be saying you value your kids the most, but you're spending all your money on fucking handbags, holidays, and staying at work late to pay for them. Truth bomb. We can't be saying we value mental health, personal development, but every Saturday night we're drinking 3 glasses of wine when we could be drinking 3 glasses of water, and watching Netflix when we could be watching personal development. So this isn't meant to trigger people. This is meant to make sure those two things are aligning. Get the values clear, and then if your actions aren't aligning with them, as mine haven't been 99% of my fucking life, by the way, then that's the awakening. We need to change the action. So once you have this, you'll understand that your decisions are shaping your behavior. Your decisions are shaping your life. Your values are shaping your life. Our values are shaping how you show up as a person, how you show up as a parent, how you show up as an employee. Many employees value getting off as early as possible. Most decorators and electricians and joiners, no offence lads, value finishing at 2 o'clock so they can get to the pub for at least 3 hours before they have to get home to the fucking missus. Just a random example. But again, the same people would say they value family. Well, do you really, if you're in the pub every day from 2 till 5? Spending your hard-earned money on pints, not precious moments. So, moving on. All our actions will be led by our value structure. But the reality is, here's the big one, right? Most people have never challenged it. Most people have never queried it. Drop me, just so I know, even now, or on YouTube, or on Facebook, or anywhere at all, because I'm going to go back and read these. Just type the word values, right? If you've probably never really thought deeply about it until this point. Or certainly in the last 2 to 3 years. And then I also want you to drop me another word saying others, if this is true. Because the real fact is, so many of us, our values aren't even our own. Because of the way we've been conditioned. Because of the way we've been led. Because of the environment that we're in. We're just going with the flow and following others. And that's not leadership. We don't even have our own set of values. We value the same as other people around us. And this brings us back into, we're following the peer group, we're following the parents, we're following the partners, we're following the friends. When the friend says, hey Bob, do you want to come to the pub and watch the football? Bob doesn't stop and say, hang on, do I value the pub and do I value football and the resulting after effects with my physical and my mental health and my food? Or do I value healthy eating, being there for my kids, getting up early and protecting my mental health? Because if you do, going to the pub and sinking 10 pints watching the football, your action doesn't align with your values. Yet you've forgotten your own values because your mates asked you to go to the pub. So most of the values we're living, because we're not leading our own life, my painkillers have just kicked in, aren't even our own values. So 95% of the time, we know this, right? We talked about it before, the law of conformity. Remember the law of conformity. Remember the 95% law. 95% of the time, you'll adjust your behavior in line with the group of people you surround yourself with. This is why the WhatsApp group's so powerful. This is why the meetups are so powerful. This is why the Three Shires Heads in the Peak District on the 27th of July, if you're not coming to see me wild water swim in my bikini, then you're going to miss out on being surrounded by positivity and fun. So this is why they're so amazing, because you'll fall in line with the law of conformity, right? If you I don't care how much you value positivity, how much you value family, how much you value health and your kids and all of those things. If you hang around with negative people whose values are the opposite and you spend enough time with them, your values will fall in line with them until you're sleeping awake again, until you hit the rumble strip to get back online. If you have those values, but you're hanging around with other achievers, other people who say I can, other people who want to win, other people who actually live the lives that they say they want to live, that's called integrity, by the way, then it will build and build and build and build. But over a period of time, we know this, environment trumps will. If you are surrounded by the wrong people, or worse, just on your own, trying to figure it all out, we've seen this in the last 4 or 5 weeks. I see it all the time. People leave the WhatsApp group and leave the plan because it's doing their fucking head in. Guess why? Because it's reminding them of what they're not fucking doing. That's why. So I'm going to run back to my old peer group with my old shitty standards where nobody calls me out, nobody holds me accountable. In fact, they just call me to the pub and then they don't have any negativity towards me when I've gone back into running their old patterns. This is why I'm harsh with you guys. This is why I'm known for not beating around the bush. Because I want a better life for you. I'm not going to be the person that says to you, yeah, that's okay. Why? Because I wouldn't be authentic. So many of us, so many of you are so careful of your diet. Yet when it comes to the diet of who you spend your time with, who you listen to, who you fall in with, you're not careful at all. And I've dropped people out of my life in the last 6 months, brutally, because I've refused to be around their fucking bullshit after 1, 2, or 3 times of trying to help them. Bring drama to my door, you're gone. Bring depression to my door, you're gone. And this comes from a guy, right, who loves helping people and loves growth and contribution. And I'll tell you what the difference is. That I can listen to a person's problems 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 times and do my very best to help them. But you might have heard the phrase, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. After that, if said individual wants to keep telling me and moaning about the same fucking problem that they've told me about 10 fucking times while still not taking any action, guess what? By listening for the 11th time, 1, I'm not helping. 2, I'm not listening to my own advice because I won't allow myself to be around with that. It's not that I don't care, it's just that I can't help everyone. Number 1 rule of coaching, right? If you want something for somebody more than they want it for themselves, then give up. Move away from them. You can't help a person who doesn't want to be helped. And by listening to the same bullshit over and over again, whilst providing the same answers over and over again, and them still not taking action, isn't helping anyone. In fact, it's the opposite. You're becoming part of the problem. So the next time your friend says, can we go for a walk because I'm feeling a bit down, and they want to put the world to rights with you, and they tell you the same story they told you 10 times before, but still haven't taken any action, refuse to go and tell them to fuck off until they sort their shit out. Because you protect your energy, you protect your diet of who you spend your time with, and you're not willing to do that because you are becoming part of the problem. This is why depressed people meet depressed people whilst getting pissed and lonely, feeling each other's loneliness, get together, have a child, and then it all ends. Because it was all wrong from the outset. Be around positivity. Be around people who want to see you win. You have to protect your environment and your diet of who you spend your time around. Because nothing will have a bigger impact on your future than that. Hang around with healthy, your health values are going to go up. Hang around with positivity, your positivity values are going to go up. Hang around with fun, fitness, focus and finance, and your fun, fitness, focus and finance values are going to go up. Hang around with the opposite and your values of that will go up. I'm going to have to speed up a little bit here because I'm running out of time. So, what are leadership values? So, look at your list and be honest. If it says staying in bed, boozing, making excuses, avoiding training, watching TV, getting pissed at the football on a Saturday, partying and buying material things I don't need to make me feel better about my soul-sucking life, good. Be grateful. Doesn't make you a bad person. Makes you fucking human. Okay? But also, if they are your values, treat it as a very grateful rumble strip. Because trust me, you're not in the right environment to grow. So here we go. Pens at the ready. I've just switched my iPad off. There we go. So what are leadership values? The number one leadership value of leading your own life is courage. Without a shadow of a doubt. Every great self-leader and leader of other people has courage. It's not about being fearless, it's about being courageous. We can't be fearless because fear is an absence of fear, and courage can't exist without fear. So stop focusing on not being afraid and start focusing on being courageous. Other leadership qualities are they don't quit. Okay? They take ownership, they take responsibility, they love people. They're authentic, they face fear, they have a willingness to serve other people. They have a willingness to contribute. They have determination, confidence, strength. As Logan's teacher very kindly pointed out, they have defiance. They overcome the odds and take on challenge, even though it seems too tough. When they fail, they keep going. They overcome huge opposition. But most of all, they have honesty and they have integrity. And integrity is about living your values. Everything we've just gone through, integrity is about living your values, not other people's, your values. See, most people do the opposite of what they say they value. They talk about how much they value health, but they constantly eat shit and drink alcohol. So values means being true to yourself, your values, and your word, not other people's. It means doing what you said you would, long after the mood you said it in was gone. And living by your values means that no matter what happens, I am not going to compromise on who I am and what I believe in for any other human, irrelevant of who they are. I'm not going to say I value my health and then run to the pub every time Dave clicks his fingers. I'm not going to say I value my family and then spend every hour I can at work. I'm not going to say I value getting in shape and then snooze and miss the gym every morning. It's about honesty to yourself. Integrity is honesty to yourself before you can be honest to other people. Now, another great personality trait of leaders is belief and faith. because belief and faith equal courage. Leaders look at scary situations and go for it anyway. Every great leader embraces challenge, embraces uncertainty, embraces fear. Because if you're not embracing challenge, if you're not embracing fear, if you're not feeling afraid and going for it anyway, then there's no need for courage. If you're doing fuck all and you're sleeping awake, going through life, living by other people's values, not taking action, then you don't need courage. So you'll never be a leader of yourself or others. So be courageous enough to want more. Be courageous enough to want more for your life. Because then when we've got the belief, as we've discussed, belief and the faith equal courage. And faith overcomes doubt every single time. I don't care if 99% of people say I can't. Outside of you guys, I don't think very many people thought I was going to complete 200 miles. I think a very high percentage of people didn't think I was going to complete 200 miles when I got to 170. Doesn't affect me. Because I'm in charge. And that's just a personal example. But go into any other area of your life. Maybe your partner doesn't believe in you. Maybe your boss doesn't believe in you. Maybe you don't believe in yourself. Maybe you don't have faith in yourself. If so, that's where you need to work on first. But leaders don't care about goop, which is the good opinion of other people. For every 99 people that tell them they can't, they will still say I can. And the final part of this leadership, of this first phase, is going back to what we've said so many times. Contribution. And I promise you, if you live what I'm about to tell you just for 1 week, you'll realise how much this is a statement of fact, not a statement of speculation. You may have heard Peter say it, I've heard Paul Mort say it, I've heard Tony Robbins say it, and I've said it multiple hundreds of times myself now. Power and leadership comes to those in direct proportion of their willingness to serve others. Help enough people will get what they want and the world will give you what you want. But here's where so many people, including myself, get it wrong. If you're only trying to lead yourself and others for personal gain, without any thought of how much value, if you're only trying to be a great leader so you get lots of clients, to get lots of money, so you get what you want, you're always going to fall flat on your face. Because it's back to that thing of it being egocentric, not ethnocentric. I'm sure I still pronounce that wrong. If your leadership of both your life and others is all about your personal gain, without any thought of how it adds value to others, then you'll never be a true leader. Not that beat was. Screen time last week, guys, was up an average of 2 hours and 1 minute to 7 hours. There you go. Arsehole handed to me live on Zoom. Maybe if I want a better week, I should stop scrolling tits and arse on Instagram. There you go. Anyway, contribution is the highest value of any leader. And a true leader will always look beyond their own needs into how they can serve others and be rewarded as a result. And this is not just about giving, because sometimes that can have a negative effect as well. Very often we give in in avoidance of actually giving to ourselves first. Filling ourselves up first before giving to others. So don't get too lost in that. And another one, when it comes into this growth and contribution, when it comes into understanding that power comes in proportion to our direct willingness to serve, is presence. Not presence like a unicorn in the post. Presence of a person. Great leaders in their families, in their business, in teams, in any area of life, they have presence, right? And presence comes from authenticity. Presence comes from a lack of having a mask. All leaders are authentic. They don't follow, they lead. And all this authenticity, all this leadership, all this contribution comes from being clear on your values, which is exactly what we've just gone through for the last hour. Who you are, why you are that person, why you want to be that person, and having the honesty, the integrity, and the courage to live your life and your values, not other people. And the final one, I felt the need to almost break into song there. And if you've got this far, I'm actually going to see who does this. Whether you're on live on Zoom now, comment the word love. If you're watching it on YouTube on replay, comment the word love. By the way, all the trainings are coming off YouTube soon onto a membership site. And if you're watching the replay live on Facebook or in the WhatsApp group, comment the word love. Because you will never have thought about that as part of leadership. To recap what we've gone through. So the first part of leadership is values, living your own values. Integrity, honesty, serving other people, courage, ownership, responsibility, willingness, contribution, determination, strength, love, defiance, overcoming the odds, taking on challenge, overcoming huge opposition, living your values, having integrity. But the number one biggest factor of leadership is love. Everything, anything, and anyone that you want comes from a place of love. And it only works 100% of the time. Every great leader in the world values love. But we need to be very clear here. This doesn't mean valuing weakness. Leaders make tough decisions that hurt other people. Leaders make tough decisions that affect other people negatively, but for the greater good of the world. Because the type of love that leaders have is the true appreciation of themselves and who they are, because they're being truly authentic, and the true appreciation of everybody else around them, good or bad, of other people. And when you can master your values, when you can master what you truly believe in, when you can master who you truly want to be and why, and actually live the behavior that matches the insights and operate from a place of love, not fear, operate from a place of abundance, not scarcity, operate from a place of I am already enough, I'm already wealthy, and I already have more than most, then you'll master your life. So go back, and when you go back now and watch this whole training from the beginning, this one line sums up the entire training. Master your values and you'll master your life. The reality is most of you either aren't aware of what your values is, number one, your actions don't align with your values, number two, or you're not even living your own values because you've been conditioned to live in other people's values because you don't have the courage to stand up. So take the time out, understand that master your values and you'll master your life. Choose the values that you want to represent and who you want to be as a leader. Then once you've chosen your values, once you've chosen that integrity, once you've chosen who you want to be and why, and you're ready to live it, have the integrity, the honesty, and the discipline to live your own values. As I said, master your values and you'll master your life. The second session that we're going to be working on this group is relationships. Because the second key of mastering our life will be mastering our relationships. So first of all, we need to master our values and understand how to lead our own life. And the second step is learning how to master our relationships. Guys, stay unbreakable. I love you all.